welcome to While We Weren't Recording. Today we're talking about breakfast.
Like legitimately. So get excited
Seriously,
or leave right now.
Yeah, if you're hungry or on a diet, probably skip this one. Because I'm both. So I feel you. But
One of the biggest things we're going to turn about in this episode is why flat crepe-style pancakes are better than American-style pancakes.
They're different.
Yeah,
they're not
they're
better.
not.
yeah, go nuts. Yeah, let's hear it. What you got there?
You
Is
guys
it because you put lettuce on it? I mean,
You don't even have cinnamon. You can't flavor it. What are you talking about?
That was the whole kerfuffle. It was that we like, you can do a lot of things in the European Union and we won't protest, but you try to regulate our cinnamon and everybody was up in arms.
You don't have kerfuffles either. You can't afford the import tax.
and yet I'm pretty sure you guys are like falling in line with that anyway, aren't you? So
I don't think so. I think we got an exception or something.
Well, it's either that or they lose Greenland. So
they've got a cultural exception for their cinnamon import. So
I mean, yeah.
yeah, they have so few flavors in that country. We need to give them something.
For now. How are things in the U.S. other than breakfast? Are you guys doing good?
Yeah, breakfast is a painful topic.
Yeah,
it was like if you like eggs, you're gonna have a bad time. That's how things
that's
are.
like the main ingredient.
Had an egg delivery, and people were just like, I guess they must be businesses or something. They were filling up like whole shopping carts of just eggs.
Probably.
Like, how many eggs do you need?
Yeah.
A lot of people seem to try to shitting on these people who are hoarding eggs, forgetting the fact that Costco also does sell to businesses. It is wholesale. Like this isn't actually normal.
It's possible that people are just trying to make a run for it, like, they did with toilet paper and shit during COVID, so it's like you'll have your egg carts on the side of the road, which is funny because it's like, just go to Costco and
and these have a shelf life. It's not like toilet paper, which will just sit there until you take so many shits that you run out, or you actually find someone stupid enough to.
I'm not saying I've read anything. That was total conjecture before I start spreading misinformation on accident, but it's not outside the realm of possibility to me. But
well, the only one I saw was someone apparently stole a truck full of eggs like a week or two ago.
That I've seen. Yeah.
And the number was like 100,000 eggs or something. It's like, what are you reasonably going to do with this?
Right. Yeah, they got an egg man. He's also looking
eggs,
for a little blue hedgehog. So
as long as you keep them refrigerated, eggs will last longer than most people think they do. But what are you going to do with, like, you're buying a shopping cart with cartons and cartons of eggs? What are you going to... And really, these people don't do anything other than maybe make scrambled eggs once a week with them. You're not baking. Don't lie to me.
Yeah, they don't call it liquid gold for nothing. Oh, wait, they don't call it that. So, yeah. Maybe they should start
the thing you get from the ground.
So this egg inflation since you guys had to do some breakfast research this week, have the prices increased at all the breakfast fast food joints?
So fun fact, I was waiting to bring that up. Actually, like, there was an article that I read that it's like there's an upper limit of what the market will bear in that regard. And basically, the tagline more or less was, people don't want to spend $25 a plate for breakfast. That's apparently the limit. More or less, so it's like all the other inflation we've had to deal with and all the other, prices and the increases and stuff like that. That's apparently a pretty solid limit in, the American economy. And so some restaurants have been passing the price of eggs on and they've been increasing their prices, and other ones are trying to avoid that because they're going to reduce the number of people coming through the door, so maybe breakfast food is going to go the way of the dodo for the next couple of years. So who knows?
I would also expect that larger chains, like someone like McDonald's or like Chick-fil-A or whatever, they might just be able to absorb the cost and keep their prices the same, because a lot of the egg prices is kind of not artificial, but temporary because of bird flu, rather than like, it's not, the price has gone up for forever.
Sure. The supply is currently lower, therefore price is higher. Right, but the supply will even out.
Theoretically, yeah.
Right.
I mean, I gotta say, using McDonald's as an example is a little bit dubious because they're probably just going to water it down with something else.
McDonald's serve breakfast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
so in a free country, We can have as much cinnamon as we want.
What?
Egg
And
McMuffin
all
is
lead
an
based.
institution.
The best lead
If it's
based.
so free, why don't you have salad on pizza?
Look, I'm not saying that you can't do it. I'm just saying what the fuck's wrong with you. That's what I was saying. So, yeah. And your quiche and your crepes and whatever the hell else you want to put your salad on.
I don't think I've ever had
came
salad
from.
in a crepe. Although actually, there may be one time my mom actually made pancakes for like burrito thing, like crepes things, because she forgot to buy burritos, so she made pancakes instead without sugar in them.
Okay.
I think about it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay,
that's
on
not
top of
that
that,
crazy from a
yeah.
tortilla. It's
Right.
just a bit weird.
So we never got the answer anyway either. You came out here with both barrels and then you shied away real quick, when
That's
you
'cause
saw
he
the
knew.
broadside. So
He knew deep down. First of all, he doesn't even believe it.
I was hoping there was someone here who would who would side with me, who wouldn't just toe the company line of USA, USA. But,
Well, then maybe
I
you
get-
shouldn't
yeah,
talk to
I've-
a bunch of USA people.
I've had crepes a couple of times and they're fine. I just, like there's something about having panned cakes where like it soaks up all the syrup and it's like 8,000 calories a bite,
Yeah,
and when you've got the
crepes and
butter and
pancakes
syrup
are just different
saturation.
things.
Yeah.
Like grapes are like strawberries and bananas and whipped cream and not syrup. Like pancakes
Yeah,
are
grapes are a
syrup.
vague extra plate that you have other food on, whereas the pancake is the actual food itself. Like I like crepes when I'm having blintzes; those are delicious. But that, like, I'm not just gonna eat a crepe.
we usually what is the most traditional we do here? And I guess here
Cinnamon rolls.
Lutefisk. No, they put fish on it.
So crepes is our pancakes essentially, and usually the
Sure.
most traditional way they're served here is with jam and sugar.
Okay.
Uh,
What kind of jam? Because that's still kind of a broad category there.
Fishberry jam.
Most common
Lingonberry.
probably strawberry.
Okay.
Basic.
I personally, I'm
Basic
more
is fine.
into. I'm more
Basic
into what's-
became basic because it was good and became popular.
Right.
Yeah, but
Let's
still,
go. College Humor's got a good bit on this. Let's go watch them both. No.
He doesn't have any Nordic berries that we can invade him for.
Yeah, no,
Lingonberries.
that's why they left. Remember, that's why they invaded everybody else, because they didn't have those things.
That's true.
So
Spices, berries, edible food, livable homes. They had none of it.
gold, women, just
Oil.
the whole thing.
Oh, I don't.
Other countries. So
My favorite jam is. I'm trying to find the English word for it.
That's great.
Uh,
It's going to be like blueberry.
right. I forget the English word, but it's
But it's apple butter. It's like, what?
yeah.
Okay, here's the Danish word. Let's see.
Oh, please don't post
English.
the Danish word. Like that's going to help anyone.
Oh, it's the same word. Boysenberry.
There you go.
We weren't exotic enough, but yes, we.
Hey,
are
look, what's the
familiar
Danish
with
word for
boysenberry.
boysenberry?
Boysenberry. Bear being berry. Otherwise, it's the exact same word. Those are my favorite.
I was going to say, I get some of those in the syrups. Like there's a blackberry syrup that I like.
Ooh.
There's an apple cinnamon syrup. I mean, my dad gets a bunch of different because he likes weird things like that. Syrups, chips, so any exotic flavor. And eventually it finds its way onto my pancakes when I go up there to get some.
Yeah,
No more fancy
We're
crepes.
basic,
That's
so-
more like bananas and whipped creams, ice cream.
You're basic. You have buttermilk. You have pearl milling and Aunt Jemima, but not Aunt Jemima anymore.
yeah, no,
Oh,
just
butter. Butter.
Whatever,
pancakes too.
was it like log
Instead of
cabin or
syrup.
something like that? Maple.
Mhm.
So we got to stockpile about 12 gallons of that for the next year when we piss off the Canadians. But
Jesus.
before
Yeah,
we
I was-
annex them,
I was
so-
going to say I prefer real quote unquote maple syrup, like the
I mean,
Aunt Jemima and the log cabin stuff has never been my. I've always, well, I shouldn't say
Sure.
always. Once I was introduced to it,
Sure.
then it was like, okay, I'm not going back now. But I've never been big
Yeah.
on butter on my pancakes. Like IHOP
Really?
is the only place that
Hmm.
made it ubiquitous because they always put it on, but I never really did.
Oh no,
I
like
like
that
butter
little bit of
on
like
there.
saltedness from the butter and just butter in general is just like I think that goes really well.
Oh,
with-
since I'm usually
with
having them with
butter.
like with the syrup and then another meat on the side or eggs, like I've
We
got.
don't eat, yeah, we don't eat meats for ours. That's not a thing.
What?
What, like
You're missing
pancakes,
out,
eggs,
dude.
and sausage? You don't?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
We do the whole American breakfast brunch thing.
No, you
kinda
don't.
Sometimes.
Clearly, you
Where
don't.
you do have the meat and the thick pancakes and stuff like that. The
Look,
American
man, if you don't have a sidearm next to it, it's not an American breakfast. So I don't want to hear about it. You know, like what caliber of breakfast are we talking? Andreas,
22.
I really want you to come here because we would open you.
You just
to
want to give him
whole
a
new
heart attack.
world. Like, yeah, right.
I was gonna say
I'm not stuffed enough.
he's not going to be able to leave America for one of two reasons:
Yeah.
either he's never going to want to, or we're going to kill him.
Right. Yeah,
no,
like
that's three. We're never going to want to. You're going to kill me, or the plane won't let me back on.
right. You'll have to buy a third seat or something. I don't know.
You gotta
Like,
buy the whole plane, sir.
yeah.
I would just get a Viking longboat and work it. Get a longboat and work it all off.
Yeah. I read an article once that said for every piece of bacon you eat, it takes 6 minutes off of your life. But I talked to my doctor about it, and I told him, Doc, that can't be true, because if it was, I should have died in 1492. So yeah.
Yeah, that
Like,
can't be.
There must be some sort
Yeah.
of diminishing returns on it.
Sure. Straight up, though, I've told a bunch of friends that it's like the reason why America is the greatest country in the world is because we can have bacon for every meal, and it's not even weird. So
Yeah, not at all.
But- yeah.
Well, and it's also humans are like, we get half our skin grafts and our organ stuff from pigs. Like, you can't tell me bacon's killing me. I mean, you can, and it's probably true.
I'm
But-
not gonna listen. Right.
But I'm not. But I mean, it's clearly healing nature and my insides because
Oh man, I don't understand. Like, you guys don't do sausage or anything. Like the whole
They gotta
idea
do
of the-
sausage. I mean,
Yeah.
they don't raise cattle. They don't have the. What is the cattle going to eat over there? Snow?
sausage
They
is
have-
still pork.
they have a lot of cattle, actually. I mean,
Our
that was the whole.
sausages are predominantly pork. Yes. Cow sausage. That's you can get
I was
it,
gonna
but
s-
it's not normal.
I was going to say,
Uh,
don't they have the fluffy cows that you
we
can't
just-
really eat?
We don't really.
Those Highland cows.
Okay, so I'm gonna blow your mind here.
Scots.
This will be
That's
a nice
Scottish.
change of pace.
And it's probably inaccurate.
Pancakes are generally not served for breakfast at all,
Sure.
and we don't eat pancakes with meat. No, in general, and when I say pancakes, I mean crepes. That's what we eat here. We do get the American style pancakes. That's a thing. That's
Uh-huh.
because multicultural and internationalism and all that. So that's
And somebody invented flour
It's
over there one day.
when I was a kid, there was not just we didn't celebrate Halloween.
They just
Now-
stole it
now
from the
Halloween
Brits.
is celebrated here.
Uh-huh.
But the meat to pancake thing is only if you do specifically the American style breakfast, and that's not common. That's like an event kind of thing. You're doing a special. It's the
Well,
weekend.
I will grant you, typically speaking, when there are pancakes served in my household, the only other thing that will go with it are eggs. Like, we're not also doing, it has happened, but generally that's like when you go out to brunch or a restaurant where you get the whole continental breakfast thing of pancakes and eggs and sausage or bacon and on the side.
Yeah, so I got to break it to you. If you don't live on a farm, for example, you're not doing that every day anyways, Andreas. So that might be a thing to demystify. And the other thing, the total shock to you again, and they've really ought to just advertise with us at this point. But at Costco, you can get pre-cooked bacon that you can just cook in a microwave for 1 to 2 minutes, and then boom, you got crispy
That's weird.
bacon done. So
And occasionally it's good.
I mean, it depends on what you need the bacon for, right? Like, if you want the really good shit, then yeah, you're gonna want to go
Make
to
it.
a restaurant, or you're gonna want to make it or something like that. But yeah, this morning, we made pancakes. I say we, my wife did, but I don't think she did. Like, she might have done pre-cooked sausage as well. But it's like, yeah, we're not doing that Monday through Friday. Like, that's not a thing. So we don't got
having
fucking time for
pre-cooked
that. We got to
sausage-
get in the mine. So
That makes sense. Sausages can take a while, especially like if you want to do the mix yourself by hand or something like that. That's not normal. But important question: did your wife make it from the batter by hand, or did she have like a pre-mixed batter?
I don't remember what the base is, but she likes to do like pumpkin pancakes. So there is definitely some mixing and some adjustments that needs to be made and stuff like that. She likes to do a little bit more specialized. Like we don't do like chocolate chip. We probably could, but she's trying to get other nutrients and vitamins in. So she'll do peanut butter stuff sometimes or pancake and whatever. So sorry.
I was always
pumpkin.
chocolate. I always loved chocolate chip, and
Oh yeah,
I mean, so I would do chocolate chip. I think my sister would do, and my would do a mix of chocolate chip, and then they came out with the Reese's, the peanut butter style chocolate chip ones. But it's peanut butter, obviously,
right?
And so she does half and half. My brother always did just the peanut butter, and my dad throws bananas in because he's a psychopath.
But yeah, fruit pancakes are also yummy. So.
Which one?
Fruit ones are yummy.
Oh, I think bananas go on top of the pancake afterwards. They don't.
No. He bakes them in.
That's
he puts it in the.
I just think that's going to ruin the texture.
Well, I think I don't. Bananas are okay, but like I'm just going to eat a banana, and I don't want to. Banana flavor things are good, but I don't like slicing up bananas and cooking them or flambeing them and all that stuff. It's like, nah.
I've never cooked a banana. I mean, banana bread, but that doesn't count. But bananas go well.
Primary example of cooking a banana.
Baking it.
Yeah, but no, like you can fry bananas or whatever. You can. I've just never done that. If you had a slice of banana and you were cooking it in a pancake, I think that the moisture would ruin the texture, and so it would just be soggy all around. Unless you had already cooked or fried it or something, so it was.
You said like you had blueberries.
Well, it's one side goes down, he throws the slices in, and then flips it over, and then that's that. I mean, pancakes don't take long on a griddle. It's 5 minutes tops.
Yeah.
I don't
that's
like
another
them,
thing.
but-
Blueberry pancakes are pretty common, right? They're fairly
Yes.
filled with moisture,
Yes.
and I don't think they ruin the pancakes, from what I've seen on TV.
But there is like a pocket of like almost like a puddle of a blueberry there. It's not my favorite, but I'll make them once in a while for my husband.
I'll be in a mood, but blueberry pancakes can be friggin' fantastic, right? But
I do enjoy
it's kind of a
blueberry
mood thing.
muffin.
Like I'm always in the mood for chocolate chip, though.
Oh yeah.
So
They had one. Last time I went down to Florida at the hotel we were at, they had 2 pre-made batters already ready to go if you wanted to make waffles. One was a normal one, and then one was a blueberry one. So it came out all blue and purpley and whatever. And I was like, they're pretty solid, for a hotel breakfast.
yeah, that's
I mean,
awesome.
the fact that the batter's there and you put them in and make them yourself on like the breakfast thing there, a fresh one is like so much better than something that's been cooked and standing there maybe under a heat lamp or whatever.
But that's always because they have the individual like waffle maker irons. There's usually 2 or 3 at a time, and then it's just you portion out what you want and you making them because they don't know what people want, so they're like, this is your responsibility. We will serve it, but you do it.
First, I'm making a mess, and then second, you're giving me my waffle.
They give you those little cups so that you can put it in and then dump it into the thing.
Well, you said I could put as much as I wanted, and that's where I said I was going to make a mess.
Well, you could. It wouldn't come out. Then you would have what the director fears with bananas, and you just have soup.
Well, no, I mean, you're still going to cook it. Still going to.
If it overflows,
eventually
it will.
Well, I'm not going to eat that stuff. I'm just going to eat the over full waffle in the middle. So, yeah.
You just had to pick like a specific, like a spread, like this portion is what you're eating for breakfast for the rest of your life. What's the pick? Is it pancakes, bacon, all that stuff? Is it?
I mean, that's a solid variety, so I would be
Yeah.
okay with that. But I would want to switch. Like there are times where I really just want French toast.
Mm.
Yeah,
You're gonna
French
be-
toast
you have
is
to be-
lovely.
This is my breakfast for the rest of life.
I could do like a 2x2 type of breakfast for the rest of my life if I had to in a pinch. Lately, so it's like 2 or 3 pancakes, 2 pieces of meat, 2 eggs. So depending on the restaurant. Every restaurant in America has a variation on this. You
I
know,
would do that, but I would have to add some hash brown or potatoes.
I was going to
Exactly.
say,
hash
often
browns
a
have to be
place
there.
adds hash browns. I can take or leave hash browns. For me, the problem is by the time I get around to the hash browns, I'm full. I got everything else done. So, like, unless I'm going for a hike that day, like, I don't need it.
I mean,
you know. So
when I was saying like we're going to be talking about breakfast, so maybe we should do some research. And my husband's like, "So you were getting Chick-fil-A for breakfast?" Like, yes, that is what I did the next day, and part
That
of it
was
is
your
just
excuse for research.
and their hash browns, their little like medallion size things, they're really really good.
sure. I mean, I'll
love-
eat them
I
from
love
McDonald's
potatoes.
too, right? Like, yeah.
Yeah. See, for me, it's
But
easy. When I get
they're
a
little-
spread like that, I'm usually doing like a bite of egg, a piece of sausage, and a hash brown like slice in one bite, and then I'm eating the French toast or the waffle or the pancake as its own separate thing.
Sure.
And I'll alternate. If I had to pick one, I would probably go with like if it was stuck, quote unquote, for the rest of my life, it would be like challah bread, French toast, eggs, sausage, and some kind of potato.
Yeah, I was going to say lately I've been doing biscuits in the morning, like because there's a place that we go to and they have amazing biscuits. Ironically, they're known for their pancakes and everything. Their pancakes are fire, and so like I've been ordering the biscuits so long that I finally switched back and been trying different things on the menu because it's like we're going practically weekly now. But their main downfall for it is that they don't like they've got a sausage based gravy, but there's not enough sausage in it, and so I'll just order a side of sausage to do it myself. So that's an upcharge, but it's like sausage and eggs and the biscuits and stuff. But yeah, like white southern gravy on your biscuits and whatever. And like I've been to some other places and their gravy's too sweet or something like that. I want the savory, types of stuff, and these guys do it amazing. And so like even though they're known for their pancakes, like I said, they kind of converted me over to the biscuit side. But like I don't know if I'd eat that forever because obviously I haven't already. I've been switching back to the pancakes and like
Yeah, choosing anything to eat forever is you're always going to have a trap. Like, but one day I want something different, or for like
Suck it
several
up.
years I want something different. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's why 4 meals, 1 snack, and a dessert. And that's your
in a blender.
Well, I mean, technically, eventually.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I think as much as anything, like I've been trying to get away from the pancakes so much just because I would love to go overboard with the syrup, and that's not going to help my girlish figure. So I don't get the curves in the right places. So
Got to get the protein pancakes, the Kodiak ones. At least that's the ones.
yeah. We played around with those, at home, but it hasn't stuck. I think that's where the peanut butter stuff started coming in, was like a way to get more protein in for the kids and that sort of thing. But that we finally got them on like sausage, so it's like, okay, that satisfies it. But
I think the first time I ever actually had biscuits and gravy was in Iowa. And because it never looked appealing to me, and I was like, well, I'm not going to go out of my way. I was already a picky eater from way back when, and even into adulthood.
Unappetizing. That sausage gravy thing. It's just like it does look like something's already vomited it up. Sure.
Well, and there's a YouTube video that I saw once that had like a bunch of Brits trying like American breakfast, and they go in talking about like how just horrendous it looks and everything like that, and they were like, oh my god, like don't bring this back to our country because everybody will be even more fat and whatever.
This coming from the people who think that beans and blood pudding is an acceptable addition to a breakfast.
They already put
and their bacon is ham. It's like, stop.
Yeah.
Don't talk to me about breakfast. Ireland was the most depressing place to eat breakfast every day for a week.
Yeah, but it does look bad, and I want to say it was my wife that got me started on it. Like it was her staple, and then now ironically she can't do it anymore, or she won't because she found out she's gluten intolerant. It's like, hey, so yeah. I'll order it and she's got to order but the place we go to has really good gluten-free pancakes. Like I've even had them reheated and I was like, holy crap, these are amazing. And like, you can't say that about most gluten-free things,
That would make sense. Like pancakes don't need a lot of gluten. And so they probably actually perform better on a gluten-free version than other
You don't-
things.
You'd be surprised.
You don't want gluten in pancakes. You actually want to stir them as little as possible, which is what develops the gluten, right? It's
Sure.
stirring.
Or you can use an electric beater and just
Man.
go to town on it.
And have rubber.
Well, yeah, if you want to do
Yeah.
the folding thing, like you're making a fucking cake, sure. Nobody's got time for
Yeah.
that. I don't
Ain't
know.
nobody got time for that.
I mean, I probably would if I did it, but then I would just be doing my own from scratch instead of, which I will try someday, just when I have the time to do it. Because I always
Right.
use a already pre-made blend, and you throw in the eggs and the milk. And
I think there's a trade-off though too between having the time and being really freaking hungry right now and you just want to eat, because like I could go through all this effort and delay my breakfast by another hour, or I could just friggin' put it in my mouth now. So
well, it would tend to be second breakfast for me. Like I already would have been up, had a power bar and a shake, and gone to the gym. So at that point, it's like
That's
well,
fair.
I'm not starving.
Brunch.
Yeah.
That's like, again, making pancakes and having that whole thing is it's a event type thing,
Oh,
especially
yeah.
with-
The breakfast has to come now with a mimosa. If
I was gonna
I'm
say,
stuck with the one thing
it's-
forever, then I want my alcohol too.
oh yeah.
it's not brunch if it's not a mimosa. So Andreas, let's blow your mind again. Like we drink alcohol with our breakfast, so you know.
You get
5 o'clock?
you get three options.
Uh,
You get a mimosa, a
5
screwdriver,
o'clock.
or a Bloody Mary. Those are your
Yeah.
choices.
I don't drink on
The
Because it's got
screwdriver
orange
is if you're
juice in
a
it.
real degenerate alcoholic.
Right.
Yeah,
Bloody
Yeah,
Mary.
it's like,
Degenerate.
Here we just drink. Like I don't think it's common to drink at breakfast necessarily, but if there's any excuse to drink, we'll drink. I saw a good joke comment the other day where it was like, in the U.S., you can't drink until you're 21, and in Europe, we're contemplating to stop drinking at 21.
right.
Yeah, because you've already been doing it
I
for
mean-
6 years.
Yeah, right. 6-7
we
years,
drink
it's
a
time
lot
to
here.
go into rehab. So yeah.
I mean,
It
it's
is
better
something
to
special about a
introduce it early.
mimosa. If you add like orange juice to alcohol, all of a sudden it's acceptable to have in the morning.
Yeah, it's
Fantastic.
You're
healthy.
getting your vitamins and your non-minerals.
Your vitamins
Well, and
and your
especially if you're coming off of your bender from last night, like you don't want to sober up all at once. That's a migraine,
Yeah.
man. Come on.
Cumulative hangover might kill you.
Yeah, exactly. Thank
Also,
you, Archie.
I
So,
exclusively, if I'm going to brunch specifically, I have to. It's a place that has to be a bottomless brunch because I'm not
Oh, yeah.
paying that much money and only getting one free mimosa. No. You're going to keep that on rotation until I leave.
yeah.
And
We
a
did
lot of
that
places don't do
once.
that anymore, or they upcharge you for that. But there's one or two places I still know of where it's like, your meal is your meal, and we'll just keep bringing you mimosas until you tap out. It's like, thank you.
Yeah.
We did that once. We went to a place that had bottomless mimosas, and I was driving, and so he was enjoying that bottomless mimosa. I lost track of how many he had, somewhere 6, maybe 8 or something. And he can act so completely sober, so that I couldn't tell how drunk he was. But when we were leaving, he asked me to walk in front to get to the car, and I didn't understand why. He was like,
Right,
"Oh, because
sure.
he doesn't know where the lights are."
I need a
Yeah.
point of reference.
For balance purposes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'll have to
Listen,
try that sometime.
They
So,
go down easy. Orange juice and prosecco or champagne. It's like,
mhm.
and I'm not a big bubbly
Delicious.
drink person, but it just goes down.
Yeah, it goes really well. Like I've had screwdrivers, but there's like I wish
I
it
don't like
wasn't
vodka like that.
Eh.
Yeah.
All I can taste when I'm doing that is the vodka. Like if a vodka's in a very well mixed drink, or like a White Russian, where something like the cream and the Kahlua is also
Mm.
making it very understated.
Oh,
But
I'd rush.
just vodka, I hate vodka.
Yeah. I mean, I don't drink a ton, but the last time I had a screwdriver, I was in India, and it was mostly because I was like, if you got orange juice and you got vodka, like I know what's in it. And like I don't have
And
to
it's
get
safer than the
anything.
drinking water.
Yeah, so it was like, yeah, so that was pretty much the entire reason. You know, they were like, what do you want to drink? And I'm like, geez, man, I'm not even much of a drinker, and how do I even convey this, you know? And but they were like, yeah, that's a thing, you know. So but
And I've never done a Bloody Mary because it doesn't. Tomato juice to me is unappealing. Vodka is unappealing. A celery stalk is unappealing. It's like none of
Right.
this is clicking for me.
I need
Yeah.
to try it at a place because like a long time ago, we tried to make them at our own at home and it was okay. But like our skills were different enough that like my glass and his glass were just different. And so we don't have the ability to be consistent and we've never tried it again. And so I'm curious, what is a really good version of a Bloody Mary?
Yeah, apparently it's a finicky drink. Like if somebody knows how to make it, supposedly it's a delicious thing, especially with the spice level. But if
I
you
was going to
don't,
say
then it's
spice
really
makes
crap.
it, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, because
Because like
it's got spice.
the
in it.
only part, the only part that appeals to me is the pepper, and
Yeah.
everything like that. I was like, that might overshadow the tomato enough for me to get over it, but yeah, I don't generally like tomato like that. So
Me neither.
That's another thing. All the Euros put in like tomato slices in there. It's like, what are you doing? This is
Yeah.
most of this food is not breakfast. Like just because you throw eggs next to it doesn't make this breakfast.
right. Yeah, anymore with stuff like that, it's like I'm an adult, so I'll eat, stupid shit that like I don't like sometimes, like tomatoes and breakfast, but I'm gonna pull that out and eat it by itself, so that I don't have to like ruin my eggs with it or something. Like I
go the
can't.
opposite route. I'm an adult.
Yeah.
Feed me like I want breakfast.
Sure. No, I mean sometimes that's the case, right? But sometimes you got to roll with the punches, and you go someplace new, and you're like, why? What?
No.
You should advertise you being a weirdo like this,
I'll go hungry.
Yeah, who
I don't
puts
have a problem with beans
lettuce
for
on a
breakfast,
quiche? Like seriously, but
Like it there's a Creole Cajun place I've gone to breakfast for a few times and they have like spicy beans. Like that's perfectly fine for breakfast, but it's the UK version of kind of like look really bland. It's almost sweet, and I don't think sweet.
I mean,
I don't
I'll
need sweet
grant I
beans.
really don't like beans to begin with, but so
Yeah.
that's not helping. But no, it just doesn't.
I
It doesn't
used to
jive
as
with
a
me.
kid. Like it used to be a pretty staple side, but yeah, I can't do like refried beans or
Oh, my father loves them.
baked beans.
Every
or
time we
anything
make
like that anymore.
burritos, he's the only one eating the refried beans. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
you go nuts.
Interestingly, and like I think just because it has like other benefits for me and whatever, like I'll do black beans, and so like I'll do that on nachos and for Mexican food and stuff like that, but like I'll just eat the cheese off the top of the refried beans, and it's like I could eat the refried beans, but like again,
But no.
yeah, I don't really like the texture anymore, and do I really need the calories at that point? So. And if refried beans are in something, it's fine. Like I really get down with chili verde lately, and so like if they throw refried beans in on top of that, I'll live.
I don't understand what refried beans are. Is it just like you take beans and you like mash them up and fry them? Is that refried beans? Or
I don't even know how they're prepared, but
yeah, I don't know how
like,
they're prepared either, but essentially it's like bean paste that, if you got it in a can, it would be this brownish paste with some semblance of bean looking things in it. And then you would then heat it up again in a skillet. And that would be...
I tried to make it once, but you don't have refried beans. So like, for what I could gather, was like some onion and some spices and then
There's one thing that I have learned is that Europeans do not understand Mexican food.
Oh God, no.
Oh,
not even
I mean, how could they?
Yeah.
So
just whatever you did, Andreas, I'm sure it was a travesty. So.
They found salt and
whatever you did, I'm sure you
like,
apologize.
they found salt all those centuries ago, and they were like, "All right, we peaked. We don't need. We're good." Spices. What are these?
I do want to take this one step further, though, and I need to ask why. Like, what even possessed you to like try to imitate refried beans? Did you see a picture in a book and you were like, that looks good, or what?
I think I watched Good Mythical Morning, and they talked about refried beans, and I was like, I want to try that.
And you did try to find like a recipe for it, or?
Yeah, I tried to look up and from what I could gather, it was essentially mashed beans with some onions and spices in it.
Gotcha.
That sounds about right.
Okay.
My cousin makes when she makes her burritos, like she'll have the meat in the crock pot, and then we'll add the refried beans into it for like extra.
What I made just didn't have the same texture. That's why I was asking, because like, if mine was more liquidy than.
No, it should be more like a paste.
Yeah, it was thicker than what I saw.
Yeah, it might be. Yeah, like beans are sensitive, for lack of a better word, on how you prepare them, like in advance of preparing them, right? Because it's like you got to soak them for days and stuff like that. So
these comes in a can soaked. I don't know.
Gotcha. Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe did you drain them first?
Yeah.
Okay, because it's like I do that shit all the time. I hate my food being soggy, especially with bean juice. So all that shit gets drained. So
I mean, were you cooking them, or did you just mash them in a bowl of cold?
I cooked them on a pan. I got fried onions so they
Okay.
were translucent. Then in with the beans and mashed them up, and gave it some
Stuck 'em in a stew.
spices and yeah. And then, but yeah, it tasted good. It just wasn't as thick as what I saw when I checked out what it was supposed to look like.
Gotcha. Yeah, no idea. Yeah, we always got our stuff canned, so yeah. But I mean, it's funny too because like I'm sitting here thinking, and like Andreas, I applaud your your curiosity because yeah, I don't think I've ever seen Europeans eating something and be like, man, I really wish I could try some of that. So like maybe some of the breakfast sausage, that like you see with UK breakfasts and that sort of thing. But then the whole tomato thing and some other stuff, it's like, yeah, I don't need the breakfast beans. I don't need the tomato. Like the egg is fine and the sausage.
I would certainly have a
particular.
Yeah.
What?
Black pudding, blood sausage.
The whole idea of it's kind of is weird to me. I'd probably try it just out of curiosity, but
Sure.
I mean, I'd probably try everything in that breakfast. And the tomatoes don't have to suck; they just might anyway. Like fried tomatoes are fine occasionally. I'm not big on tomatoes, so it's very rare for me. But like,
right?
They don't have.
I mean,
to
I
be
do
bad.
it, but it doesn't mean that I'm coming back for seconds, right? Like
It's
yeah.
Tomatoes. At least the ones we get here, I have to get some pretty expensive tomatoes before they are like worth eating, because otherwise it's just like this is just lightly flavored water. But if I get the good ones, it's actually good. It tastes of tomato,
So
but that costs a pretty penny.
what do you use the other ones for, or is it just to say you've got tomatoes in something, make your mom proud? Like, look, mom.
So I just don't buy the shit ones, but people buy them because they don't want to spend money on the good ones, I guess.
Wow. Okay.
They just don't taste of very much. Sure, they taste of a vague semblance of tomato, but if I compare it to the good ones I buy, it's like 100x the flavor or something. They taste of so much more.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you kind of summed up my problem with tomatoes is that sometimes it just tastes like bitter water, and why do I want that?
Yeah.
I like tomatoes in every form but tomato.
I wonder if they're like greenhouse grown and they just suck at it. So
I mean, sometimes it is also just the strain, like heirloom tomatoes, even if they're made in a greenhouse or something, they can still be very tasty.
You gotta do it right though. Like I read a book and it kind of turned into like a life motto a little bit, but it was like tomatoes are actually susceptible to hardship in a way that like maybe every fruit and vegetable is anyway, right? But it's like if you grow them in a controlled environment, they suck. They are just going to taste like water and whatever. You actually got to like starve them a little bit. You've got to, put them through some weathering and stuff like that. That's where the flavor kind of comes from. I'm probably oversimplifying it, but that was kind of the gist that I got from the section that I was reading. And it was about, growing food in greenhouses more or less. And, so it just kind of became a thing that it's like probably the same thing with people, right? The people that are just like sheltered and stay at home, they suck, right? But if you go out and get some, hardship and stuff like that, that's where the flavoring comes from.
Well, that's why all the homeless people are cannibals, because they know they taste better.
Right. Yeah. Thought it was because no one would care if they were missing, but different strokes, I guess.
6 of 1.
Tomato.
Right. Nice.
We kind of got far afield of breakfast here.
Did we? Because like cannibalism's just a different kind of breakfast here. They call it long pork. So
yeah, it's long bacon instead. It's not ham.
I'm not big on ham.
Ham's okay, but it's got to be. I don't know. I don't know what it has to be. Sometimes it's good. Like the other day, I had some form of Danishy pastry something, but it had ham and Gruyere and mustard at a coffee shop. It was really, really, really good.
It just sounds like a sandwich.
Yeah.
It was delicious.
Yeah. I mean, again, probably would try it.
And like
but
stone ground
right now,
mustard, it wasn't yellow mustard. It was like the fancy stuff. It's like this. I love this
Great
coffee shop.
people.
It has like a bakery in it, and it's just
Oh, hey.
fantastic.
We're going
This,
to French
On
pastry
our
after this.
Discord,
so-
I'm going to post a picture, which, by the way, you can join our Discord. And if you
It's a
do,
little early for pitching this.
you can talk with us, interact with us, have fun with us. It's great. You just
So
got to
that's
support us on
my-
patreon.com/brokenjars. Anyways,
we
this picture on our Discord, is what my dad had for breakfast today. So
We
I mean,
still have
that's
20
almost
minutes
American
of
approved,
berating your breakfast habits before we have
Well,
to
no,
go to the
hold on.
pitch
Let's
up.
see how
So-
bad it is, and
No, it's-
then
I'd eat the shit out of this. So yeah, he's got an egg in a basket and bacon and sausage. Like, is he on a trip to America or what's going on here?
oh,
England. If it's egg in a basket, it's England.
Well, yeah,
It's not in a basket. It's a fried egg on top of the bread.
yeah.
Oh,
like
so
I
he didn't
said,
cut out the circle?
No.
all right.
That's-
So,
That's just
Lazy.
all around
extra
pretty
work
good.
for no reason.
Yeah.
So
but
No, it's fun.
what are the condiments? What are the hot sauces here?
lettuce,
What?
salad.
On him?
Before he puts
Iceberg.
anything on, but if I know my dad correctly, he would put. It's probably just ketchup he would put on.
Mm.
ruined.
Ketchup on eggs. I used to not be a fan, but then I
It
love
works.
ketchup on everything, and then it grew on me.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
it's. I'll do that once in a while for scrambled eggs, but it's kind of particular. Something like Cholula is always good, or Secret Aardvark is really good.
My dad does randomly watch sometimes, so maybe if he caught this episode, he will write me what he ate to it.
Is he the
And then
other
maybe I'll
end,
bring you a plate.
Andreas? Like,
No.
is that the
Yes.
connection? Yeah.
No. No.
Senior and junior.
My
Yeah.
dad has a very not Danish name, actually. I think it's very rare someone.
Is it
has a
like
Nordic
Fred?
No.
Like,
No.
It's Sven.
it's Kevin.
It's actually
So-
a French name.
It's a French name. Oh, okay, so
Jean.
Jacques. Yeah, right.
Immediately
There's
went to
like
J's.
5 French names we know. So
Francois.
Rene. His name is Rene.
nice.
I
Yep,
believe
that
it's
would have been
Jean.
one
That's
of
my
the
next
5
one.
actually. So
Yep.
first you got to get past Jean-Luc and Jacques,
Rene.
and then Renee. So
Yeah, I
hi
prefer.
Renee, in case you're watching. So sorry
If-
we make fun of your son all the time, unless you're into that. In which case we're gonna keep.
I'm
you
not
on.
sorry. I'm not sorry in the least.
My dad's favorite thing to say to me is usually, somehow this is probably your fault.
Oh,
Clearly, he
geez.
needs to take your spot on this show.
Yeah. I should start saying that to my oldest. I don't know. So,
Just make sure that it's clear that it's said in a joke and love and affection, and not that it's
No,
meant.
no, you say it
Because-
deadly seriously
it
while
really
maintaining eye contact.
yeah, right.
Doesn't-
No, I mean, yeah, we've got some along those lines. The one that I started, shoot, he would have been 4 maybe, because we had, his youngest brother was born, and like, whatever, I'm picking on him, so whatever it was, flicked his ear, threw a toy, something, and he'd be like, Dad, I'm like, what? Baby did it, so now that baby is 5 and can talk and defend himself and stuff like that, that's still my like BS excuse for anything
I was
where
going
I'm
to say,
picking
yeah,
on
that's
him. It's
perfect
like,
now.
yeah, baby did it. He's like, he's not a baby anymore. So it's like, he's
It
at
doesn't change the
school,
fact that he
Dad.
didn't do
Yeah. So
Just get a constant stream of babies to be around, like not necessarily have yours, but like start like babysitting other people's babies, just to say that baby did
Right.
it. Always the babies.
yeah. No, my evil gene kicked in. I realized a way I could twist this to bad, but yeah,
Mom
because
did it.
he's got hang-ups about certain fictional characters from Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings and stuff. So it was like, yeah, the house
The
elf
Witch
did
King did it.
house elf Dobby did it. So
Oh,
so
I was going to say that would freak
Yeah.
anyone out if that gremlin was going around flicking your ear.
yeah, no, this week was the boogeyman, which is ironic. So the book fair was in addition to everything else that we had to deal with this week, and so he got a book on hunting monsters and realized he could not hang,
Internationally,
and so hunting
Very
them
wrong, Ingrid.
internationally.
Monster
is
Hunter
that-
International. That's an old.
Oh,
meat-
no.
meat
Yeah,
training
yeah.
street, and you would love it. And
That's a name I haven't heard in a long time. So, but
And never will again.
yeah, it was like, I think the book does have monsters from around the world. So, but yeah, something about that one got pushed his buttons this week. So, that was fun. But yeah.
So you're not going to show him Nightmare Before Christmas anytime soon?
Dude, the worst part about it is that for the last month or so, he's been insisting that he is ready to watch Pennywise. And
Oh.
mom and dad have been emphatic that that is not the case.
What?
And that until you can get over your minor hangup of allies from Harry Potter, I don't think you're ready to see an actual scary monster that gives grown-ups nightmares.
Also, which Pennywise? Are we talking like the Tim
I
Curry one,
entertained-
or
I entertained if there was a way to like ease him into that, because it's like I freaking love horror. I would love to watch horror movies with my kids, not as they are now, but it's a thing that I look forward to sharing with them someday.
I don't need them
But
sleeping
yeah,
in my bed right
like,
now.
And that's what happened this week is like, oh my God, the boogeyman is like, my dude, like we have a Chihuahua, which we are allowing to sleep in your room. She is afraid of every damn thing. So if she is not concerned, there's nothing to be afraid of at all. And he's like, but you just said she's afraid of everything. And I was like, yes, that means she's your early warning system, and yeah, like at least twice this week he was in my bed.
Do you remember tornado warnings in Florida?
So if he's
Yeah.
scared and coming to your bed because he's scared of something, that's fine. He's
Yeah.
not ready for Pennywise, and the early ones or the late ones.
It was
Or
yeah,
the
it was
book
like
one.
the first night. Yeah, the first night I was like, so we're giving up on the whole Pennywise thing. He's like, yeah. So it's like we'll revisit, and I think it's like he watches like occasionally Five Nights at Freddy's stuff on YouTube, or there's some other thing that he and brother have found that has something about a clown or whatever. And so because he was okay with those, and he's got some friends that have watched it or whatever, and it's like, buddy, you're kind of sensitive to this stuff, which is why we tried to shield you a little bit from more of the violence and more of the horror, not because I'm particularly morally worried about it, but because I like to sleep at night, so
And
like,
you move too much.
right, he absolutely he will glomp onto you, and it's like I can't sleep like that. So but
He's definitely
Anyway.
not ready for the book, not even when he's ready to watch the
no.
movies. The book is an even later thing.
Yeah,
Nobody's really ever ready for that book.
I scoffed at it when, like reading horror when I was a kid, I would scoff at it because it's like, ooh, the words are scary and whatever else. And I was like, dude, I watch like the visuals, like, I'm not that worked up about it and whatever. But yeah, like I had nightmares for a week, not necessarily like, oh my God, Pennywise is going to come get me or whatever, but like existential nightmares about like living in Derry and shit like that. And I was like, yeah, you don't need that shit. So.
Yeah, well, because that's the thing with a book. It's entirely your imagination creating it, so it's going to latch on
Sure.
to the worst possible thing, as opposed to the visual, which could theoretically look silly to you.
Sure,
But
sure.
it's all up there. So whatever you're reading, it's like, well, I'm going to picture the worst thing. Thank you.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Speaking of Stephen King, anyway, I've started The Stand last night from like 2 years ago, the new one, but it's a pretty good first episode.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It got some critique, which I
Never read
didn't.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly what it was, and I couldn't really resonate with it because I have not watched the originals, The Stand TV show, or read the book.
Yeah. Anybody who's holding it up to that, I feel like, look, it's got its place and everything like that, but that's like comparing, Villeneuve's Dune to 1984 Dune, and it's like, guys, like, can we just not? That's like comparing crepes and pancakes, like. So they're just not.
You got the robust, delicious, fulfilling meal of 2024 Dune, and then you have
right.
You have the languid, shitty crepe version that is the 1980s.
I watched the 1980s right after I watched the first Dune, then of the new ones, because I was like, I watched it several times when I was younger. I want to see it again, and when after I was done, I was like, yeah, the new one's a lot better.
Yeah, like it's fine for what it was, at the time and whatever, and they did a good job and stuff, but it's better now. So
it was
so much
questionable.
better.
They did a questionable job. Some parts of it were okay, and some parts of it were just what? Why the fuck was
it's
there
not
a
like
pug?
it's not like the masterpiece that is the Super Mario Brothers movie. Let's be very
right.
clear.
Yes.
In case you are not sure, that the Harkonnens are bad guys. Their servants have heart plugs you can pull out and kill them.
Right.
If you were not
Right.
sure that the Harkonnens were bad guys, they're all gingers.
Hey now.
Not in the new one. They're just bald.
Right.
Safer decision. Everybody hates bald guys, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Receding
What are you
hairline.
saying hey for like you have no hair?
Receding hairline is not the same as bald. I just gotta,
Yet it will be. Give it time.
Yeah.
No, it
So
should
he's preemptively offended.
I read that once you hit 35, that's pretty much the hair you're gonna roughly have for the rest of your life.
Oh, I'm fucking in then.
I was gonna say I'm okay with that if that's the way it is, but
Yeah.
It might thin out
Director's
as you
screwed,
get like
though.
a
She's
lot
got so
older,
much
but
time.
in general, you can roughly count on this is what you have.
Yeah. The problem is she's got enough Asian heritage that's like the hair that she has when she's 95 is going to be the hair that she has the rest of her life. So
that's
know.
true. It's a matter of whether or not
Yeah.
she becomes an old lady instantly, or
Right.
because then you see some of them. It's like, how old are you? It's like I'm 40. Jesus Christ.
I feel like Asian women, it's like 20 to 60 or something. It's almost the same. Just look at that. What's her name? The actress. From
There's a few of those around.
It's like you think of Michelle Yeoh or
Michelle Yeoh.
Michelle Yeoh.
And then all of a sudden, I don't know, 60 plus something. Little Asian lady.
Well, no, that's the meme. Is you either look like you're 35 until you're 60, or you look like you're 60 when you're 35 and on. Like it's just
right.
there seems to be no in between.
I'm gonna guess there's a lot of environmental things about that because Asians are still pretty heavy smokers in Asian countries, and so that probably is changing that a lot.
That is,
Also,
the
allegedly,
original
and I don't know this for
generation,
sure,
yeah,
there's
so I've read.
a lot of different Asians out there. So
Supposedly.
Weird.
I've been told. I don't know. I haven't verified independently.
We talking like
Um,
2 or 3 kinds or
No,
Probably
like
even like 7.
5 or 6 even.
whoa. Jeez.
Yeah.
Mind
I'm
blown.
just waiting for Asians to stand up for their free time, so they don't work 16 hours, go out drink for 4 hours with the boss, sleep 4 hours, and then back to work for 16 hours, and that's every day. That just
Oh, you
seems-
didn't read that Reddit thing that posted like a week or two ago? It's like in Japan they have this service where you can disappear from your life and people will move you out in a night and you can just go off the grid to avoid that entire thing.
I would use that.
I feel
What do
like there's a niche.
you would
here in
use that?
America, so-
If I was in that life, I would use that.
I was gonna say you're like coding in your free time. What do you like? You got to move out.
All he
from,
has is free time.
Oh, like you got to move out from Finland in the dusk of night, otherwise the loot fish.
You know,
like
Yeah,
winter
right.
hotels gonna
Like
come
you
for
already eat rotten fish.
No.
Like how much worse could your life get from
Just
here?
because something is true, don't mean you have to say it and mock me.
That's exactly what it
kind of.
I have
means.
feelings. I feel.
I already got the
things.
approval from Renee, so it's fine.
Right.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks, Dad. I'm glad you got my back.
Somehow this is your fault. So
No, not somehow. We know how. It just is. All right.
Someone else talk. I gotta go cry.
Okay. No, don't bend over. Now we can see the airline.
You know what? You know what?
That did you no favors. What were you doing?
That was mean. That was, really mean.
that was fucked up.
That was not cool, man.
Listen, I resisted for 5 whole seconds there, and then you just kept laying down. You can't do that to me. I have no willpower. Or if I do, it's
What do you mean? Look how much weight you lost. You gotta have some willpower.
That's true.
yeah, but I used it all up.
You every morning when you go work out, then that's the willpower for the rest of the day gone right there.
Unironically, yes.
And let's be real. Regardless of his physical appearance and everything, he didn't have willpower for niceties ever since we've known him. So
God.
that was never going to be a thing. So
Why waste the energy? It's like why waste the calories on the refried beans? Just
right. See, yeah.
It's got to be worth the calories.
What, niceties? No.
No, just
Nice.
anything. Anything has to be worth calories, and
Yeah,
it
at
has to be
this
worth it.
point, yeah.
Away.
Like if I take a sip of a beer and I hate it, I'm like, oh no, sorry, not wasting the calories. Give me something else.
Yeah.
And I like beer. I have a very wide threshold for things I like in beer, but like I got a really shitty one the other day, and it's like, nope, dumping it. No point.
Yeah.
There was a time I would have just drank it to drink it, but ain't nobody got time for that.
Nice.
Especially when I could be having unlimited mimosas.
Right.
Which are worth the calories, at least for a day.
Well, it's usually on a Sunday. It's rest day anyway. You know, the Lord said.
I mean,
Declare a cheat day and done. Aren't
That's
you a
usually Thursday.
Saturdays, rest day kind of person?
It depends. I mean, I was not today. I did not rest. No, Thursday is always the day that I both don't go to the gym and tend to eat worse, because it's usually when I'm going out to have dinner with my mother. So like between going to work and then just going out, I don't have the time, and I don't. So the day before I would have had my trainer, and it's like, fine, whatever, I don't care.
Gotcha.
On the weekends, it depends. There are days. There are like some Sundays I'll half-ass going to the gym. Like I'll go, but I didn't really accomplish much when I was there. I just kind of went to make myself feel better.
Nice.
I was there. I showed up. Effort was
Basically, that's what I tell myself, and now let me go have pancakes and brunch, which I don't even do that much, but still, brunch would be a thing. Like if brunch was more feasible, that would be the kind of thing that I would get into the routine of doing, every Sunday type deal, because that's better than church, first of all.
Oh yeah.
And
Time better spent, in my
anything's
atheistic
better.
opinion.
I don't know about anything. Temple's pretty shitty too. Like
Any
it's one in-
activity is more desirable than going to some religious event.
Any activity?
I was gonna say. I mean,
Hold on. Sorry, my horns popped out for a second. I'm like, I could think of a couple.
I've had the stomach flu before. Like the activity of bending over a bowl was not better than. Well,
Yeah.
no, it's not.
Yeah.
Choose to go to temple or go to church. So any other activity that you would choose to do is, in my opinion, I would rather do anything else. I would rather go work out, and I really don't.
You know that phenomenon of like you ignore the mess in your closet for 8 months, and then finals are coming up, and you really, 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 really don't want to study, and so you decide that is the perfect time to clean out the closet. I could see doing that decision to go to temple or church instead.
Go to church. Go to church is shorter.
Oh,
Church is
that's
only an
funny.
hour. Temple's like an all-day thing, half the time.
Oh, okay.
Then you get a lunch intermission, which is like, why are you teasing me?
Yeah, it's not even mimosas, but
You
I
don't
bet
even
they
get
bring
bacon
in
at
more
temple.
people, right?
Well, and that's the thing. So like the few times I did go with my dad, it would be on a holiday like Yom Kippur, where you're supposed to be fasting all day anyway. So even when you get the break, it's like, well, what? You're just going home to sleep, so you can get through the rest of it.
You got no energy. You're not allowed to eat. You have to sleep.
Correct. And it's like, I don't mind a
say
day
coffee?
of fasting, especially nowadays. It's like, well, okay, yeah, I can do that for a day. No big deal. But that doesn't mean I then want to go do other things, especially not intoning all day. Are you kidding me? No. None of that. But no, I just don't. So that makes life easy.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there's
Yeah. Around here, it's really good to schedule your Sunday around when the locals are in church. Be like, yeah, we can go there around 11 because they're going to be busy. So,
oh yeah, that was always the other thing, was going to church and then going to breakfast after, and the diner's always
Everybody's at the same
fucking
rush.
packed.
No.
Yep.
No.
No, you got to go beforehand, or just stay home and make it. Because at that point, it's like, because you're already probably
Worth
going
the
to some
effort.
place that's overpriced for brunch, not getting unlimited mimosas, and you got to drive there, and you got to wait 2 hours.
right.
No.
It's going to be Linner by the time you get through the line, man. So,
Well, that's the other thing about brunch is it can be very filling, and then at that point you've kind of screwed up your day of meals because you're like lethargic and not hungry again until like 4, and then you're probably having an early dinner that day anyway because it's a Sunday, and that just tended to be how it went. Because then you would have to be, well, okay, tomorrow's school, so it's time, you got to get to bed early tonight again. It's like, great. So I just finished eating at 12. I'm having now probably a nice heavy Italian dinner at 4. Okay.
That's a lot of carbs. Pancakes followed up by pasta. Damn.
I was going to say, plenty of it fell on me, but there was a reason I was the way I was.
Yeah,
Don't get me wrong.
that was old EG.
There's plenty of response, and now it's just like, I mean, I could still do that once in a while. I just,
Wait.
I would feel very, very, very upset about it the next day. Like, God, now I got to do twice as much. But you got the whole point of doing it is to enjoy it afterward. Because if you just like, fucking eating celery stalks, it's not a life. Still got to have your brunch and your mimosas.
Yeah.
And don't let anyone tell you different.
The American way.
All right, now you can take us out.
Anyone tell you different?
Psst, Andreas. Just because you did it earlier doesn't mean you don't have to do it now.
Oh, wait, your microphone hadn't fucked up yet, so I didn't.
Yeah, I know. So we didn't hit the hour mark.
Yeah.
I know. It's because I took a pause in between there. I saved some of it.
This has been an episode of while we weren't recording. You want to support us? You can support us at patreon.com/brokenjars. You can leave us a comment or subscribe on our YouTube. That would mean a lot. Give us a thumbs up. And if you support us on Patreon, you get access to our Discord and can see breakfast picture I posted. It was very good.
And
delicious.
Provide also more judgmental opinions. Those are